Hello everyone, I've got a little bit of a more lame video here today because I just recently found out that myself and probably many other YouTubers have been effectively shadow banned for now. If you guys didn't know, YouTube rolled out a sneaky little update that a lot of people aren't aware of, and that is turning restricted mode on for some people by default. It's actually an old system that has never really worked, but it at least used to pretty much only be a thing for like school and work computers. But it's affecting people normally now. And you may be wondering, what are the criterias for a video to be restricted? So as you can see, I check all the boxes. So since I've filled in all of the requirements to have my videos be restricted, every single video available on my channel right now is currently restricted. And this is meaning that a lot of people just can't see my videos because it just is completely hidden. It's not even like age restriction where it shows a warning before you play the video, but you still have the option of knowing it exists. This form of restriction completely hides it, which effectively turns it into the ultimate tool for information control and censorship. And for the last few weeks, I've been wondering why my videos just randomly started performing way worse than normal. And sure enough, it was revealed that about 3 or 4 weeks ago from today, this new system was put in place, which was right when my videos started to drop off, along with many others. Unfortunately, there's no way of knowing what causes a video to be considered restricted, so I don't even really have a way of working around it, but I wouldn't consider any of my videos to be particularly dangerous even to kids. In fact, aside from the odd swear word that maybe is the cause of all of it, I would say my videos contribute positively to the world. In general, when I am just complaining about something I don't like, I at least try my best to find something useful for people to actually do about it, and not just complain about it like a lot of YouTubers do. But I really don't have a solution to this one. All we can really do is complain about it and hope that YouTube cares, which I know they don't. Ultimately though, this just seems like a way for YouTube to control the information that people can get over their platform. Considering how effective their AI tools are at figuring out what like the topics of videos are and such, there is literally nothing stopping them from just adding any video that talks poorly about them to this restricted list, which would completely hide it from viewers. Again, this is more restrictive than the already existing, already kind of functional age restriction setup, which essentially allows you to know that something exists while still being able to protect people from having to see it if it really is all that bad. But because you have no way of knowing it even exists, you take away the ability for a person to decide whether or not it's a good or a bad thing. So make sure you guys all check your settings and make sure the restricted setting is off, because it does absolutely nothing but let YouTube take over the information that you receive. As far as everything I can tell, it serves no purpose other than to give them more control over the content you get, and has no bearing on the actual safety of the videos whatsoever. And of course, on top of that, if you are receiving ads on YouTube, obviously the safety of the videos you're watching means literally nothing anyways, because the ads are almost certainly worse. I have disabled ads on everything under my household for a while now, so I haven't seen them in quite a bit, but I saw how bad they were getting towards the beginning of this year, and I doubt they're getting any better. In fact, I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comments the culture I'm missing out on by just not seeing these ads. Because in a really weird way, by not seeing them, it makes me lack information that a lot of other people have on how terrible the ads are. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure what this change is going to entail for me long term, because if this restricted thing doesn't change at all, I don't think I'm going to be able to continue doing YouTube. As much as I do enjoy making videos just for the sake of making them, it's still important to me that people can actually see them. And it's one thing if I make a video that's just boring and people don't click on, which has happened plenty of times. But when it's out of my reach and it's something I can't control that's just going to happen to every video, it does make you wonder what the point of it all even is. In fact, this entire video is kind of an experiment. I've purposely not said any swear words because I want to see if that's what's causing me to be restricted. If it's something as small as that that's causing me to lose 90% of my viewership. And the really frustrating thing about this is I'm given absolutely no notification that this is happening. I'll go ahead and just show you guys my channel dashboard. I don't mind sharing this kind of thing to show you guys just what's going on with me. So this is just the main page. You can see the last video performed extremely poorly. It's been just over 3 days, and it basically shows you how your last few videos have compared to each other over the amount of time they've been up. So in 3 days, this video got 9,000 views. And in 3 days, this one got 200. And you could see basically my top 5 were all kind of okay. This is kind of expected since my videos about tech have kind of done better than my videos about gaming. So this is kind of a reasonable. All of these are reasonable up until this one, right? Where you actually get to see the story is here. So you can see right here, I did the first complaining about YouTube, and this one essentially did really well at first and then dropped off because, I mean, this was basically just a trend, if I'm going to be totally real. I just wanted to talk about this, and I didn't really have a lot to add to it, so this is totally expected. And then after that, I kind of broadened it a little bit and talked about things people could actually do, basically talking about self-hosting being good, and you can see it's done much better. I believe this is a way higher quality video than the last one, so this absolutely makes sense. And I'm glad it did well. Then after that, I did another one, and basically talking about why Linux is good, because a lot of people have kind of forgotten about it or written it off as an operating system that's too complicated for normal people to use, but that's just not the case. And then I did this one about dual booting to kind of show that you can use Linux even without giving up on Windows. And both of these performed extremely poorly, and as you can see, they started basically right when the shadow banning thing took effect. The views completely dropped off. And at first I just thought maybe the topic was lame, maybe people had written off Linux so much that they wouldn't even click on a video explaining why it's good or something like that. And as you can see, it's just gotten worse and worse since. Oh, and then this is something I did because I applied to be an editor for Midwest Safety and didn't get the job. So yeah, that's there. You guys can know about that now. So that is pretty much the entirety of my situation behind the scenes. I don't really know what I'm going to do from here, because if this keeps up, I don't think I can keep running this channel. So I really hope this changes, and I don't really have any say in whether it does, unfortunately. All I can really do is hope that the people more powerful than me know it's an issue and try to get it resolved. And for people who just came here for the topic of the video, that's going to be the end of the video. But I talked a little bit about my life and my career choices that I'm starting soon in the video about self-hosting, and I realized I haven't really made any updates about that, and part of that is probably just because of some of the comments I've gotten. If you guys aren't aware, I am interested in joining the police force, and I'm currently actually a journalist on a local news level. So I'm not just some dipshit who thinks it sounds sexy and wants to go and control people or anything like that. I've seen firsthand and worked with a large percentage of officers already in my area, and know that they're not dicks. It's been normalized here, at least, to be a good person, and I know I'm going to improve the world some by doing it. Since that video did so well and got a ton of comments, a lot of people saw that I was interested in joining, and I guess I didn't do a very good job of explaining some of my reasoning, but I actually have a really interesting story about it if you guys are interested in hearing. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I'll go ahead and tell you guys just because I think it's a really nice story. It actually happened a couple of months ago now, and it's been quite a process trying to get into an entrance exam and kind of get my foot in. And I've been kind of contemplating it around since the year started, just to give a rough idea of how long. And then, like I said, a couple months ago, I had something happen that kind of made it click for me and made me decide I wanted to commit to it. My fire alarm was beeping, it was doing the chirp because it was low on battery. So I decided to just go to my apartment's office and ask for another battery. Normally you put in like a work order and they just send somebody out to you, but I didn't want to do all that for just a 9-volt battery, so I just went over there and asked to switch it with them. And they didn't have one on hand, so they ended up just calling maintenance and having him come to the office instead of my house anyway, which meant that the entire thing was pointless. But while I was there and waiting, a kid came in and wasn't able to get into his apartment after coming home from school. His mom was supposed to be there, but she wasn't answering the door. And he tried to get a key to his apartment so he could make entry, and so the lady at the desk asked him for his information, and he had something wrong with it. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he didn't have the right information to get a key to the apartment, and he ended up just leaving after that. I don't know why she let the kid just leave, but she did. So I get my battery, I go back to my apartment like maybe a few minutes later, and I go back out because the kid said what apartment he was in, so I knew where he was. And this was like a 9-year-old kid, like in 3rd grade or something. I don't remember how old you are for what grade, but he was young. He was not like a teenager or anything. and he was just sitting on the stairs in front of his apartment staring at the ground, like looked very distraught. So I kind of asked him what was going on and if he wanted some help, and he said he did. And so the information that I got from him was that his mom's car was right outside the apartment, but she wasn't answering the door when he knocked on it. And he also didn't have a phone, and he didn't know his mom's phone number, so I wasn't able to get in contact with her easily, at least. So I'm asking him some more questions, and I kind of realize I'm just alone with somebody's kid, and I decided to call up the police on the non-emergency number just to have an officer out there so I'm not alone with somebody's kid, and also so that they can help solve the situation, because it is absolutely something they'd do. So while we're figuring things out, I asked him if he knows anybody in the neighborhood. He said he was newer and didn't know anybody in the apartment complex, but he had a friend that was going to a daycare that was like across the street, very close by, like a few minutes walk, and that his friend's mom could call his mom. So I take him there, and at that point the officer meets with us and we start getting things figured out. And sure enough, we talk to the daycare and we find the kid that he's talking about, and they get in contact with his friend's mom, and his friend's mom calls his mom, who answers the phone and just said that she slept in. I didn't get the full story on why she was asleep, but it was like 3 or 4 p.m., which is kind of one of the weirder times to be having a harder nap. But, you know, I don't know their lives. He said it wasn't a common thing, though, and that he'd never had it happen before. Either way, we finally get it figured out, and the kid's able to get back with his mom. And I have a little bit of a talk with the cop because he knows the news company I work for very well. I hadn't personally run into him before just because he was a day shifter and I'm a night shift worker, so we kind of just wouldn't see each other normally. But overall, it just ended up being a good experience, and I was able to help a kid reunite with his mom that would have just been sitting out there for hours until his mom woke up and realized that her kid wasn't inside. And it took me even a few days after that to kind of realize that I really did want to commit to it. And I started looking for entrance exams to get my foot in the door. With policing, it's not like a lot of other jobs where there's super strict college or education requirements. Every department's a little bit different. Some of them want college where I'm at, some of them don't. Some of them will put you through the academy if you join them, and some of them won't, and you'll have to pay your way through the academy yourself. So I'm of course looking for a department that will get me through the academy, and then I will be stuck with them for a few years on a contract because they put me through. And after that, I'll be free to do whatever I want to do. Maybe I'll end up liking it there and staying, or maybe I'll transfer out. Once you have your law enforcement, I guess I'll call it a certificate. It's a little bit different in every state. But once you have that, you can get in almost anywhere with something called lateral transfers, where there's a pretty minimal process to just switch departments essentially. So that's what I'm going to be planning on doing, and I actually have an entrance exam coming up this Tuesday on the 9th. So we'll have to see where things will go, but if you did make it this far into the video and listen to my entire story, thank you all so much for sticking around. It really does mean the world to me. And if you're interested in getting a little bit more involved in my community, I have a Discord server down below in the description that you can go and check out. But regardless, thank you all for watching to the end. It is much appreciated, and we'll just have to see how this all goes.